again with nextlevelguitar.com. Thanks for joining us today. Continuing on with our Inspired by lessons, and we're going to look at a blues progression today and some ways to add a little bit more chordal movement into our minor blues. Alright you guys, before we continue, take a look at the link below here. Click on this link below in the YouTube text box, and we are going to send you a free video lesson and a corresponding ebook. Again, absolutely for free. It's free info. It's really good stuff. So please check that out. Click on the link only from nextlevelguitar.com, and we will continue on. Alright, so we're playing a minor blues today, and we're going to add some chord movement to our progression just to give you some options, some places to go. Hopefully get you some new chord voicings that maybe you hadn't checked out, or even some voicings that you've used before, but maybe a new way to use them. So normally when we're playing a minor blues, if you're familiar with blues, you know all about 1, 4, and 5. So in a B minor, we might play a B minor 7, an E minor 7, and some sort of like an F sharp 7 chord. Maybe you play this one. F sharp 7, sharp 9. And when we're playing minor blues, you'll usually put those together into some sort of blues cadence or blues form. And then we'll repeat that. Pretty standard for playing minor blues. And that obviously works quite well. Sometimes you might want to have the option to add some more movement to that progression. So that's what we're going to dive into today. Okay, so let's first take a look at some of the chord voicings that we're going to use today. And then we'll also take a look at why they sound good the way they do. Alright, so here is our progression that we went through in the intro. We're starting with our 1 chord, B minor 7, barring all the way across with the index finger here. Now we're going to go to an A add 9 chord, and I'm going to use my thumb here. We're going to want to deaden string 5. And then up top you have ring finger, middle, index, index, with a little pinky on top up here, the 7th fret. And of course, a lot of people will do this sort of pinky move, so you're free to kind of toggle back and forth here. Then we're moving into a G major 7, index finger, again skipping string 5. Ring finger on the 4th fret, 4th string, pinky on the 4th fret, 3rd string, middle finger, 3rd fret, 2nd string. We deaden that 5th string this time with your index finger, who's just kind of laying across that string there. From there, I'm only going to move my index finger down a half step to F sharp. Call that a B minor with F sharp in the bass. So up to now, we have our 1 chord. Okay, so those 4 chords are leading into our 4 chord, our E minor 7. So we started on 1, and we're kind of working our way down the scale. On our way to that landing point. I'm leaving the 6th string open since we're playing an E. We can add that as our root. And then I'll do, a little hammer on here just to liven it up. barring across, hammering onto your E minor 7. The idea here is we have, again, the chord movement, and we're targeting that 4 chord. Now we've resolved to one of our landing points in a blues progression. From here, we're going to keep moving. We're going to keep moving on down. We're going to D major 7. C sharp minor 7, flat 5. F sharp 7, sharp 9. To F sharp 7, flat 9. And that movement there, that last series of chords, that's a 2-5-1 progression going back to the 1. So we land on our 5 chord. That's our 2. That's a 5 chord. And that's also the 5 chord. It's still an F sharp even though we're changing some of the higher register notes. So we get to our 5, which resolves us back to the 1. And you've come full circle at that point. So then we repeat the progression there. All right, so we have a lot of chords there. Where do they all come from? Well, they all come from our scale, our B minor scale. So let's go over that briefly. The notes of our B minor scale are B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, and B. So if we were to assign a number value to each of those scale notes, we'd have our locations for our chords. B is our 1, C sharp is our 2, D is our 3, and so on. So as you refer to the different chords in the progression, it's based on the degree of the scale that we're going through there. Okay, so that's all well and good. We have numbers for our scale tones. How do we know which notes to build up in the chords? A lot of the time, the chords are built up from notes from your scale. In most of the instances of the chords that I demonstrated, A add 9, every single note in that chord voicing can also be found in the B minor scale. Same thing with the G major 7. Same thing with this B minor over F sharp. E minor 7. All still uses the same ingredients. Everything comes from that 7-note scale. D major 7 does as well. Even that C sharp chord does as well. When we get to our 5 chord, it's not uncommon to hear some altered tones. That's what that whole sharp 9, flat 9 business was all about. The 5 chord going back to the 1 chord is the strongest resolution sound in a chord progression. So oftentimes you might spice it up with some of those altered tones that go outside of the scales. And if you're ever wondering, you know, what should I use, ultimately it's what sounds best to you. That's you can never go wrong if you go by that. So there we have it. As we can see, by building some chords up from our scale, it gives us some other places to go in our chord progression. So thanks so much for joining us today, you guys. Please visit our website, nextlevelguitar.com. There's over 700 million videos there for you guys to check out. And by 700 million, I mean around 1100. But thanks so much for joining us today. Nextlevelguitar.com, and we'll see you here next time. Thanks.